It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Scent Blocker,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
and Badass Slingshots.
Hey, we're back for another episode of the Up North Journal, and we are sitting outside for those on the live stream. Checking us out, sitting here poolside. Got the field behind us here. The sun's starting to wane a little bit. Nice little breeze.
Oh, we've had a breeze for the last few days.
It was windy all weekend, man.
It was a little windy yesterday.
Yesterday, stuff was flying. But
oh, Deb says bring the lunch.
Bring the lunch? No. The guide is supposed to.
No, I think that's
supply.
your pay for the guide. Is bring the lunch.
No.
She'll guide.
The guide is supposed to supply the shore lunch.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Alrighty then.
I'll bring lunch. I'll pack some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Those are always good.
And I'll have a cooler in tow. How about that?
There you go. You're not going to have this cooler in tow.
No. You guys can see here behind us our little backdrop tonight. Cabela's Alaskan Guide Series cooler. I love this thing, man. As we said yesterday, this thing will hold a whole deer, head, legs, and all. You take the entrails out, fold that sucker up, and you can pack it right in there. And that's brought a few deer home, I will say.
You can certify that.
Yes, sir. And I imagine if you wanted to throw somebody in it, you might even be able to do that. I don't know. We tried that with one brand of cooler before with you, but not this one.
Yeah.
We could do the Ice Bucket Challenge right now.
Billy Hoffman says, just like a goose guides, bring donuts, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. So
there you go.
All right. No coffee tonight. You brought me a nice little sugary drink here.
Actually,
Ice drink.
I think it's supposed to be more healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know. It's not a Slurpee, but...
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I already feel healthier. But
Jason Radecki wants us, first off and foremost, to remind everybody that Wednesday is Flag Day.
Wednesday is Flag Day. That's right.
So get your flag. Get a new flag if you have to. Change your flag if it's old.
Fly it proud and fly it right.
That's right.
So, and if I remember right, he served in the Marine Corps.
I think the Marine Corps is correct. At least that's what his hat said.
That's right.
So I was assuming he was a Marine Corps man.
So I know a guy I work with we call him the Flag Police. And whatever it has to do with flags and flying them properly, day, night, whatever time of the year, whatever the holiday or special occasion, he is the man I go to get my flag information from.
There you go.
So, but yeah, we got that going on this week. This weekend, we had our open house here for my son.
You did.
Yeah.
Last weekend he graduated, and this weekend was the party.
It was a party, and sitting right here on the deck, everybody gathered around, and what did we wind up talking about?
Well, we sure didn't talk about cars.
We didn't talk about the...
Well, you have to understand who showed up, though.
That's right, all the outdoorsmen.
All the outdoorsmen, and then when John showed up...
That's right.
You knew that conversation was where that was going to go.
Yeah, my good buddy John, that's camp manager up at our camp, he stopped by, and we talked a little bit of land management, we talked a little deer management, we talked a little hunting, talked a little fishing. Talked about a lot of stuff in the outdoors, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice. And you know what? It was hot, but there was a breeze back here, and that ended up being nice. Because if there was no breeze, we'd have been in trouble.
It was a windstorm. What are you talking about? Stuff was flying all over the place.
That's true. We had a couple tables out here, and everything was flying away on us.
All the inflatable stuff in the pool took off flying into the neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty funny. But congratulations to Jake.
Hey, Dave Hamady. See you joined as well. Good to hear from you. Speaking of John took off from our place and went down and hung out with Dave and his family last night as well. So he had a busy day.
Yes, he did. Now he's probably back home and
up at deer camp,
enjoying himself the way he does,
strolling the woods. So
speaking of strolling the woods, actually looking out my back porch, I had a fawn in today.
Had a fawn in.
Came in the yard. It was kind of funny. Mom was back off in the woods a little bit watching her, and this little fawn came in on the lawn part, the actual grass.
Where you mowed?
Yeah, where I mow.
Okay.
And kind of pranced around and kicked his legs and kind of said, "What is going on here?"
Was it stable on its legs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no.
it was probably first drop fawn. Then I mean, I don't think we're probably into second drop fawns.
No,
yet,
I
are
don't
we?
think so yet.
Another
No,
week or
I've
two?
seen. No, this one was. I've seen. I'm pretty sure it's the same one I seen last week, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, right on.
So it was stretching its legs and running around, and then it ran off towards the pond, and Mom eventually had to go find it, I think, because it went running after it.
Nice. Well, I was talking with John up at our camp, and he's seen 7 fawns this year, and only one of them was alive. The other 6 were predator. He assumes predator kills, but only one alive. Which, okay, him and I, we started talking about it. We spent like an hour discussing the subject, as we always do with certain things, and it come down to do we have that big of a predator problem, or is it a combination of that and the fact that the doe population is out of check and we're having a lot of maybe second and third cycle fawn drops, possibly, or is the fact that just we didn't have enough bucks in the area to service all the does, and like I said, they're going to be late or not serviced at all. Here's an interesting thing. I did pull trail cam photos when we planted the food plots. Next morning after we planted, I got up and pulled all my cameras, and I had them out for maybe a month.
Right.
I'm guessing 3 weeks. I can't remember exactly, but I had a lot of pictures to pull. And I seen, this is before the fawn drop when I had them out, I seen very few pregnant does. Usually you can pretty well tell. The way I got,
Oh yeah, you can tell.
they're pretty heavy. And with that, remember the one kill site.
You're right. Yep. That we kind of
I
thought about.
I thought it was 3, and then we started putting 2 and 2 together and thinking, and we figured out that it was probably a pregnant doe because that rib cage. The one thing that I did find besides fur was a small rib cage,
Right.
and that was probably the fetus.
And that is
So-
kind of the. First of all, you wonder if you could confirm how those fawns were killed.
Right.
Which predation do you have a problem with? Is it the coyotes or is it the bear? Both.
Interestingly enough, I talked to somebody up north who had their trail cameras out, and most of the activity they had all 3: bear, bobcat, coyote, but they said it was predominantly coyote and it was predominantly bobcat and bear. That was what they were having the most problems with, and I was like, yeesh.
That means you got a bear problem.
Well,
In bobcats, you're only
you're only allowed to take
one.
and you got to get the special tag for it. So people we talked about it at our camp, and nobody put in for it, and me being wanting to get back into trapping and predator hunting, I just, man, it's so doggone busy. It's just like right now, this time of year, after I planted the food plots, I really haven't done anything to forward my progress towards the outdoors. Even the PSE, I did get the sight mounted onto it.
See, you're getting
That's
there.
one thing I've
That's
done,
progress.
but I haven't got out and actually shot the bow yet. I mean, it's just been one thing after another after another after another. And family time.
Yeah, well,
we've always said family first, and those things
Absolutely.
is what's coming right now in my life. So hopefully here and then after we get Jake down to college, I can get back in that mode and start thinking more about next season. But yeah, he said that one camp that was the main problem they had.
Kevin Craven comments that there's, in his opinion, is too many coyotes and too many fawns being bred late and having young.
Exactly.
And that's
Kevin.
exactly the whole.
We've talked about that at our camp, and you could start to see the light turn on in people's head when I started talking about that. I'm like, do you really realize what too many does does, to the population, the stress on the herd, and your fawn recruitment for the following year. If your bucks aren't being bred, if your bucks aren't breeding the does at the same time during that first rut, and you've got too many does and they're getting serviced in the second and the third rut, well, your bucks don't have a chance to really slow down, recoup that energy, rebuild their supply of energy in the food source. They're running for 3 months straight, and by the time where we're at, that they're done in that third cycle, everything's froze up.
And
they don't
either it's froze up, or if you get an early snowfall.
Yeah, it stresses
And
them out.
so like where I'm at in the UP, sometimes we'll have, we'll say a November 15th snow.
Yeah, you had that before.
Yeah. And then you'll get a melt-off.
Right.
Which is okay. That's good.
Yeah.
But I think it was a couple years. I think it's been at least 3 years now. Maybe it's the last time we had the big snow in November. It didn't go away.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Those deer were going months on end. If your doe population is out of whack, and those bucks are going and going and going, snow's falling, it's freezing, and then when they realize, hey, okay, I'm done with that, and they go, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Where's the food? It's all froze down, locked down.
That's right.
You know?
So.
And, that's where we get into the deer browse. When we did the deer browse study back in April, I think it was, or May, I can't remember. I think it was April, mid-April. I learned a lot about that, about what they eat. And once they switch from one food source to another, depending on what they're browsing on, determines, you can tell how stressed the animals are and what they're having to resort to eat, as far as their preferences. And that's not good. It's not good. And that's in those bigger bucks, when they can't replenish those their body fat and get the food that they need and nutrients they need, they eventually wind up dying.
They either wind up dying or they become weak
and diseased.
The coyotes say, "Ooh, we'll take a weak one."
Well, yeah, and then let's take it a step further. Let's go into fawning season, which we're in right now. First drop fawns, they've already hit the ground.
Yep.
If you've got second and third cycle does,
that'll be happening right now.
You're spreading your fawn drop out over 3 months, and coyotes are there. We've talked about this before. Let's say you've got 100 does, and they're each having twins. And that means you're dropping 200 fawns on the ground. And if you split them up, let's just say evenly, you got 66 or 67, and the same thing the next month, same thing the next month. Why not tighten that rut up, get them all bred at the same time, drop all of your fawns on the ground so the coyotes only have one meal. They can't get all of them versus having it spread out. It's easier for them to kill more of them that way.
And it's easier for them to get bigger to the point where they become a lot more alert and able to to avoid the coyotes.
Yep. Hey, Michael Ryder joining. Hey, appreciate you joining. Just sitting here talking about stuff up at the club, actually.
Yeah, actually, it's up at the club. It's an entire state thing.
It is. Well, as Kevin Craven was talking about, he says the same thing, and but when we start talking about it, you start getting people to tune into that, and that's when you start getting people together to where they can harvest more does.
Right,
exactly. Get that your buck to doe ratio kind of back in order, so to speak.
Yep. And Kevin is the one I'm trying to get on the show.
Okay. All right.
He's a friend from a long time ago. Long time, and avid deer hunter. And he's kind of he belongs with the Lincoln group.
Okay.
His opinions and stuff, but he's not any part of it. He's
Right.
just Joe Hunter.
Right.
From Michigan.
Right.
And so I wanted to get him. I'm trying to get him on the show to get his opinion and
that's the thing. Every hunter's got an opinion.
Absolutely, and you know what? It's okay to have an opinion.
It is okay to have an opinion. The one thing that I do suggest, no matter who you are, is start listening. Don't listen to maybe so many opinions. Start listening to more research and more education, and listen to different groups. Whether you're on, let's say, a APR side or a QDMA side or a one bucks only side, or a doe harvest side, start looking at different studies. Stuff by Dr. Grant Woods. Look at stuff by Dr. James Kroll. There's other people out there. Kip Adams from QDMA. He's a wildlife biologist. Talk to your state biologist. Get a lot of different sets of ideas.
And even Kip Adams even said there is a bunch of places doing studies, and it doesn't have to be the QDMA, the whitetails. It doesn't have to be that group.
No.
Go to somebody that's off the beaten path. Mississippi State University,
right,
doing the predator study. Go check out their website.
Michigan State's done a lot of those.
Michigan's
done a lot of
and
studies.
Go check their website and read what they're saying. And it unfortunately, the way it goes here in Michigan, the way it's being done, I don't know if that's definitely not the right way.
Yeah, we had a meeting this last week. I don't want to call anybody's name out, but they talked over here on the left, and then they talked over here on the right. And I'm not saying politically; I'm just saying in directions. And went from one said one thing one week and another thing the next week, and the things aren't jiving, and it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
Didn't we vote back years ago to use sound science?
A couple years back, we took a vote, and we said, you know what, we're going to use sound science for all our decisions.
Yeah, that was the second time that we actually did that earlier. It got taken away from us, and then we got it back. And that's what we're supposed to be sticking with. And it's like, doggone it, come on, man. This renewable resource we got, these deer, wildlife, I mean, it's not just deer, it's turkeys and bear and the whole 9 yards. It's a great resource to have, and why not manage it properly? And I guess if it boils down to that they're not going to do it, they don't want to do it, maybe there's too much political pressure, maybe it's too much pressure from maybe the insurance industry. I don't know what it is, where it's coming from, but you know what? Us as hunters, let's start banding together. Talk to your landowners next to your neighbors, and let's start managing this ourselves. Because you know what? That's something we can do.
The number one thing that would hurt the state of Michigan and kind of make them listen is their pocketbook.
I've heard a little rumbling of that lately. People are going to quit buying combo tags.
Right. They're going to buy one tag.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
And then when, matter of fact, Lincoln Rowan threw out some numbers about that, how much they could lose if his group alone, the 22,000 people only bought one tag, how much the state of Michigan could potentially lose.
Right.
And I tell you what, that's kind of a eye-opener to them if they actually paid attention and said, ooh, maybe we should do something.
Well, let me ask you this, because, I mean, honestly, I've bought combo tags for years.
I have, too.
So I don't know if you know this, and I'm going to have to do some research on it, but if you're to buy a single tag, can you use that for archery as well as rifle, or no? Or do you have to buy an archery tag? If you buy a single buck deer hunting tag,
you have to buy it for the specific season.
Okay. So instead of buying a combo tag, are they buying archery, or are they buying?
Right. I think when you go buy it, you buy an archery tag, or you go buy a gun tag.
Have they sold them that way before?
I think
It's
so.
been a long time ago, I think. Back when I used to buy tags that way.
I remember the old days when they almost had like the book and the stickers.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. If you were to buy one, which one would you buy? If that's the way it is. I don't know that it is. I'm just saying. Would you buy archery or would you buy rifle?
I like archery.
Okay. Let's say you didn't get one. Would you go buy a rifle tag after that?
See, so that's a catch-22 for me, because whether I buy one tag, see, my problem is, and I'm not trying to avoid your question, but my problem is I can't shoot no does.
Right.
I don't have an option
Right.
B. My option one is, okay, if I get one tag, let's say an archery tag, it's going to be for a buck. And I'm already in a APR, so to speak, up in the UP.
Right.
But not, so that's another little quirk of the point system up in the UP.
Yeah.
If I buy the single tag, I can shoot any kind of buck.
Right.
If I buy the combo tag, that's when the
APRs.
APRs are in effect.
See, and that's what I don't understand that. If you're going to have APRs, have APRs. Across the board, be done with it.
Why not just flip the switch and say, you know what, APRs for the UP?
Yeah, and if that's what they're going to do in that zone, that's fine. But do it for all the tags. This option stuff, to me, just I don't get it.
Because theoretically, what I could do is buy an archery tag, shoot any kind of buck I want. Come November 15th, I buy a gun tag, shoot any kind of buck I want.
So then we're right back into the problem of killing our small bucks, our year and a half, basically our year and a half old bucks. They're not getting to their second birthday.
Right.
Or even smaller,
What I liked about using the combo tag before is you could turn your archery portion of it, if you want to use it in the archery, you could shoot a doe.
Oh, Billy says buck tag is good for any season, but you only get one no matter what. See, that's kind of what I thought. But now I can buy into that. That's probably what I'll do this year. I'm gonna buy one tag, and the rest are gonna be doe tags. Because I mean, that's the problem we've got where we're at is, we're askew. And personally, I'm hunting 3.5, 4.5, 5.5-year-old bucks. That's what I was after last year, and I seen them, but I wasn't close enough for archery.
I'm going to be buying a buck tag, obviously, because I'm in the UP. And if I get a combo tag, I can use those for does in your area. You
could, or you could just buy over-the-counter doe tags. That's my point. Is like
it's so messed up.
I'm going to buy one tag, and I'm going to buy a doe tag, and then if I need another doe tag, I'll go get another one. and I don't mind if I can harvest a few extras and give them to people that need them. I've done that in the past too, so I'm okay with that. Kevin Craven says APRs will be the best thing for public land hunters, in my opinion, unless the private landowners do get together and agree to let the little guys go. They're no better off. Exactly. If Lincoln talked about that.
Yes.
Up in the APR or the Northwest 12.
Yep.
And he said that's on the public land. Those guys are buying into it left and right because it's working.
And they're also seeing the economic boom up there of, hey, if you want a decent-sized deer, go to the Northwest 12.
Yeah. Right.
Hello.
Right.
Unfortunately, our leadership at the DNR, it's just not. I don't know.
I will say, is it the DNR or the NRC? Doesn't the NRC take their recommendations from the DNR?
The Natural Resource Commission. Yes.
Yes. So it's really it's on that level. That's where the problem lies, from what I've heard. Okay. You know what? Hey, we're bumping up here on our first break, so we need to take a break real quick. So we're going to step outside, take our first break. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back, everybody. Second segment of the show. For those of you all listening on the podcast, we're actually getting some good feedback from some people online. We're live streaming tonight, sitting out here on the back deck, middle of June. Beautiful night.
It is.
I was hoping to see some geese fly by.
Or here. The last couple times you had the window open, we heard them.
Yeah.
See, now we're out here.
Yeah.
And then
or the sandhill cranes.
Yesterday, those are noisy birds.
Flying
yesterday we had the buzzard out here flying around.
What were we talking about? And all of a sudden, the buzzard came by.
Yeah, John shows up.
John showed up. That's what it was. Kevin says multiple surveys for many years have shown hunters want change for TDM. Exactly. And you know what? And that's the other thing. Getting back into what we're talking about, APRs and deer management and all that, that was the thing they were going to do is they were going to this year, the DNR was going to pay out of their own pocket to do another survey. Why? We already know what we want. They've done these surveys, and people are clamoring for it. How many surveys have you taken online this year?
We got the one.
I've gotten two personally.
I think I've gotten one or two. But it's like, what more do they? What are they looking for?
I don't know.
You know what? Tell you the truth, it might be one of those things they just want to check a box. Did we check a survey?
Yeah.
Yep, we did it.
I don't know.
It's one of those things. It just.
I don't get it. Well,
Billy Hoffman's saying the goslings have hatched and most are on the ground only as of now.
That's true. I have seen a couple fly. I assume they were geese. I don't know. I've seen some flocks flying. So, I don't know.
See?
They're far away.
They were. Okay, so you also, besides the graduation, you picked up a new UNJ vehicle this week.
I did, man. I am quite proud of myself. Except for the fact now I got a huge car payment. I have to work a ton of overtime, which is going to keep me out of the woods to pay for the doggone thing. Week before last, we were up north working on the cabin or the cottage. Anybody wants a cottage in Mackinac? We have one for sale. Contact me personally, and I'll put you on it. But we worked got everything freshened up, put it on the market. Coming back home, we knew we had some problems with the Cherokee going up, and I was pulling a trailer, light utility trailer, and we knew we were going to have to do some work to it. I think a head gasket was going because it was taking water.
It was taking on water?
It was using water, and it wasn't in the oil pan. We hadn't lost power. We got a small head gasket leak. And
you were riding the Titanic.
Yeah, we were watching it very, very close. So got back home, went to the mechanic, $900. I'm like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. Just not going to put $900 more into that vehicle. I've put quite a bit into it already. And I was like, ever since back in 2012, gas prices were through the roof from like 2010 to 2012 when they were $4.5 a gallon.
Yep.
And I traded my truck in for a Cruze, Chevy Cruze, for gas mileage, and I regretted it ever since I did it. So that's when I started buying these used Cherokees, and I fell in love with the Jeep-style vehicles. And long story short, Jake's going to college. I told him, we'll send the head out and get it machined. I'll buy the gasket, and you do the work, and you can have the vehicle.
There you go.
So he's going to get him a winter vehicle that'll get him back and forth when he needs to come home. And in the meantime, I'm like, well, I can't go. Well, I could, but I'm not going to go deer hunting and fishing in a Chevy Cruze. It's just not feasible for me.
You could.
Practical. I'm not putting a tow bar on it so I can pull my boat or my trailer. That's just not happening. So I traded in on a 2017 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited 4-door.
There you go.
With a hardtop, full-wheel drive. It doesn't have a lot of fancy bells and whistles, but it's what I could afford, and I like it. And I looked at the Chevy trucks again, and for what I needed and what I wanted, I simply couldn't afford it. So it was between those two vehicles. So
See, now you've got the 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Yep.
It's all good.
It is all good.
Got a towing package?
Yes, it does.
There you go.
Well, it doesn't have the big heavy-duty towing package. It didn't even come with a tow hitch on it. I had to put one on before it left the dealership. You can tow 2,500 pounds maximum capacity with that vehicle.
Okay.
And I say, I'm pulling a 6 by 8 foot utility trailer, and what I put on that, maybe a lawnmower, the heaviest thing.
Or your 4-wheeler.
Or my 4-wheeler, yeah. So, ultra light. And then my boat, I've got my 14-foot aluminum boat, which is ultra light. The heaviest thing on that's the motor.
Right.
It's just a 15-horse Merc. So, I can pull anything with it that I need to. They said anything bigger than that, you start pulling camper or something like that, or a big heavy boat, you need to, I should have opted to upgrade to a towing package, which has transmission cooler on it.
Which has a trans cooler on it.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
And I don't have anything like that, and I'm not worried about that. So that's why I went with that package. I went with a 4-door versus a 2-door simply because I wanted the extra wheelbase length and room inside.
It's hard to crawl at our age crawling over the back seat.
Yeah, and you got your hunting gear, maybe a bow case, a couple bow cases, or rifle cases, your clothes, your garment bag, your boots, everything else that goes along. You know how it goes.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
So
you know how it goes.
Yeah, I went with a 4-door and the wheelbase because I just don't like trailer whip on a short wheelbase vehicle.
It's so fun. So fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Well, these are short enough, and you go down to a 2-door. Yeah, I can just imagine flipping something like it. We've seen them. We've seen the accidents on the freeway.
Yeah.
We see them here all the time going north on the weekends.
You also seen some kayaks.
Yeah,
Speaking of things going down the highway,
yeah,
you were out driving the vehicle today.
Hey, Jeremy Lambert, Ian Kelly. Hey guys, thanks for joining, man. See you here, just chiming in. Yeah, today I had to head down to the local big box lumber yard. You can pick one or the other. It's the one that's here in Fenton, and get in the freeway. And as I'm getting on, right next to me is an SUV. I think it was a Tahoe. He had 2 kayaks strapped on top. I'm like, that guy's either going for a late evening kayak run or he's heading home.
Right.
Sunday, he's probably heading home. And, we get on down the highway about 2 miles. And as I'm driving, I look ahead of me, and I see 2 kayaks standing on their tail straight up in the air. And my daughter's man, I'm like, hey, Maddie. I said, look, I think that guy's losing these kayaks because they're standing straight up, And we're like, oh, my gosh, And
I wonder.
Traffic was going every which direction at that point.
I wonder at what point he realized that.
if the way he had it strapped, if I remember right, when he passed me, probably as soon as the strap came loose.
Oh, okay. So he had him off down the front.
I think so.
Okay,
but maybe not. I don't remember that, or he saw me in his rearview mirror, one or the other. But anyway, I mean, he was carrying the mail. I mean, I was running. He was probably doing every bit of 80, maybe 85, and they're on their end, and they stayed like that. And as he slowed down, they didn't lay down. They went sideways, like a big Y. You know,
man.
One fell off over in the ditch. The other one hit and landed in the fast lane. And when we all got stopped in the freeway, I was actually the first car in the right lane that stopped, and everybody else was dodging around in towards the median to get around this kayak laying sideways. So we all got stopped. He kind of looked, like, okay, this guy stopped. He walked out, looked around me. Nobody else is coming. He walked out and grabbed the kayak. His poor wife was walking down the shoulder on the right side to go get the other one.
Yeah, I mean, something like that, that's scary, because if he wouldn't have realized, and those become projectiles.
Right, yeah. Well, you know what? Nobody hit him.
Right.
It looked like pinball machine action going down the highway, but luckily there was no accident. Nobody got hurt. No car got hit. Nobody hit the kayaks. The kayaks actually looked like they were okay.
Probably just a little skin mark.
Yeah.
From
they're
hitting the cement. They're pretty tough on the bottom. They're pretty thick. And you know what? Just the thought of that coming off and maybe going into the oncoming traffic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like a couple years back, they had up towards, I think it was other side of Flint there, that when the tire came off.
I was coming home that night. If you remember, we were doing the podcast. You were actually talking to me on the phone. You were here at the cabin.
Yep.
And I was on the cell phone coming home and when that accident happened.
Right. And we didn't know what happened until after, but that's when a wheel went into oncoming traffic. And
came off a trailer and hopped the median and went through a windshield.
Right. And something like that, a big kayak like that, I'm assuming 8 to 10 feet.
Yeah.
Oof, that could be dangerous.
Well, it kind of goes back. You and I talked about this earlier today. When I was coming back from up north a couple weeks ago, had that little utility trailer, had all my tools and stuff strapped on it, my bigger equipment anyway. And, I had 4 big ratchet straps across, well, not big. I had the ones you buy in the hardware store.
Yep.
The 1.5-inch wide ones. And I usually get the nice heavy-duty ones. But I had everything strapped down. And the problems we were having with the head gasket, we were stopping at every other rest area.
Okay.
Checking fluid just to make sure and topping it off when we needed to. And we got about halfway back, stopped in West Branch to get something to eat that evening. It was 9:30. But the way I tie my trailer down, I always tie it, and I have my ratchets always on the driver's side so I can see and make sure there's tension on them.
Right.
In my driver's side outside mirror. And, it was dark at that time, when we stopped. And I'll go around to check them from the last stop, and one of my straps is, it's hanging. It broke.
Ooh.
And I look at it, and it got cut. It was actually, I had it too tight. I had it wrapped around something on a sharp edge, and it cut and wore through. And luckily, I found the other half on the other side.
And same thing with me. When we go up and we're traveling, we're usually got to stop for gas. So at that point, while it's gassing up, we walk around, and I make sure those straps are. I don't feel like losing anything.
No, or having something fly off and hit anybody. Hey, Andy Eberhard just joined in. Hey, give you a quick shout out here, man. Thanks for joining tonight. But yeah, I'm really, I guess you'd say, anal about that. I always, stop.
I'm terrified.
Well, yeah, we see too much of it here because we talked about. I don't know if was it you and me that talked about up north, that up north conversation. Was that you and me?
I think so.
Me and somebody else then. Must have been. Of why we call it up north and all the traffic that goes up north versus do other states have what they call up north?
We've had that conversation before. Matter of fact, I think we had a little bit of it yesterday here while we were sitting around just for that fact.
Yeah.
The gentleman that was here with the glasses that you went to church with.
Oh, yeah, Matt, yep.
He was saying, when he hits West Branch, that's the beginning of up north.
For him, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I've come to know exit 190. When the woods start, then we're up north.
Yep, that's up north.
But you're right. Like in Ohio, do they go up north?
Or they go out east, out west, down south?
Right, exactly.
They say it's unique to this area. I know who I was talking to. It's when I was coming back. I had to work up in Clare Friday, and we took the satellite truck up. They're training me on that. But as we were coming back, the guy I was working with, we talked about that, how up north is very unique to this area. But the traffic, and that's how we got on that subject, with everybody driving, quote-unquote, up north or coming back home from up north. Snowmobiles in the winter, we see.
Well, right now it's Sunday evening, and I can imagine up at Bay City.
Four-wheelers, motorcycles, boats, kayaks, canoes, campers, and everything that goes along with them, and things that are strapped down, and all the tools and lumber and equipment you see going up and coming back after they...
Lawnmowers, tractors. And
it's crazy.
This is the final weeks. We've got graduations going on. We're getting kids out of school, so there's even going to be more traffic heading up north.
Right. So with that being said, I think actually... Friday afternoon, there was a bad accident on 75 going north, and all that traffic, and somebody got killed in that accident. We've had 3 semi accidents this week alone, hitting cars and hitting things.
You're usually on the wrong side when you hit a semi.
Yeah. Well, I ran up on one. One happened just right in front of me, a jackknife semi in a vehicle when I was coming home from work earlier in the week, Monday or Tuesday night. But I guess what we're getting at is the fact just slow down a little bit, take time, make sure everything's strapped, put your safety chains on, make sure your lights are working, strap everything down, and just take your time.
Right, and Billy Hoffman even says that once he hits the Zilwaukee Bridge, that's up north.
Right, yep.
And Andy Everhart says the people from Ohio come to Michigan because there's nothing to do in Ohio except Lake Erie.
Right on. Hey, that's what we said. Was that last week we were talking about Mar and Cody fishing
Lake St. Clair?
St. Clair. That's because they came up from Ohio. They quit fishing in that gar hole down there.
Right. They quit fishing the gar hole and came up to Lake St. Clair, and she ended up getting her biggest smallie ever.
Where? In Michigan.
Exactly.
That's right.
So, no, it's a true statement. I don't know how many Ohio plates I see going down 23 here.
Yeah. Well, you see it up in the UP for Wisconsin.
Oh, where I'm at in Wisconsin, or in western Michigan, Wisconsiners treat that area like we treat Houghton Lake. It's their 2-hour drive. It's their hour drive. I think it's only 5 hours from Chicago. So,
Yeah, Jason says they all come up here and just go like hell. Yeah, they do.
Right.
Yep.
So, it's unique and it's just important to be cognizant of when you're driving and you're carrying a trailer. Man, I took the Ranger up. And every stop I checked and made sure, because I don't need to lose a 1,500-pound bullet off the back end of my trailer.
Okay, so when you load that on, I've seen you got a small utility trailer. When you load that on there, how do you chain it or strap it down?
Okay,
what's your process? Let's go through a couple.
Okay, so it's new, so I've done it twice. So the first thing I noticed was I have a winch on the front that's got the feeder bar on it, right?
Okay,
so that sticks out. And that hits my front of my trailer.
Okay.
So
you drive it all the way up until it stops, until it touches that front.
So what I did, which that bugs me to have metal rubbing.
Right.
So I have an old tire I now put there, and I drive till I pin that tire to the front.
Okay, so that's your cushion.
That's my cushion. So I get, it's in the middle of the trailer. I got a 7x12 trailer.
Okay.
I put it in park. And then I used 3 straps.
Okay.
I fed the first one from this trailer's got rings in the corner.
Okay.
Nice.
Big heavy D rings?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And I hooked it, went through the front bar to the other ring. Like you said, I had the winch part on my side, and I just tightened that up, pulled it tight to the front of the trailer.
Gotcha.
Go to the back. Then I took off the corner, a strap from each corner to there's a 2-inch hitch.
Okay.
On there, and it's got the holes to loop the rings in.
Okay.
So I attached to there, and I just tightened it down, and it kind of
squatted
the machine down.
Okay. That was going to be my question. How far do you ratchet it down and
till
apply pressure on them shocks?
Till I see tension starting to set it down.
Okay.
Now I'm sure there was a little bit more play after it kind of
rides a little bit, loosens up a little. Yeah.
Because those were brand new straps.
Okay.
So they'll stretch a little bit. And then that's how I tied it down. And it did all right going on and up.
Okay.
I learned a little lesson on dismounting it, but...
Do tell. I haven't heard this story yet.
No.
Did you go over backwards?
No.
Okay.
No. The gate. There's a gate on the back of the trailer, right? You can drive it up.
Yeah, you forgot to put the gate down.
No. I had it in neutral. I put it in neutral for whatever reason.
The
Ranger.
UTV?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went up, and I was doing it by myself.
Okay.
And it just started to roll. And roll. And it rolled.
It rolled right off the trailer?
Right off the trailer. Trailer went up.
Uh-huh.
Bent my brand new license plate nicely.
Okay, where were you at when this happened?
I was in camp.
No, but I mean, like, in proximity to the trailer.
Oh, I was just off the front end of the Ranger, and I couldn't run down and jump in to hit the brake.
It wasn't hooked to the vehicle?
No, I unhooked the trailer because I had to move I had to go to town to get some supplies to fix the water problem.
Okay, gotcha.
So I unhooked my trailer and said, I'll do that later.
Gotcha.
So this was late in the evening, and yeah, it went.
Hook back to the trailer, man. Hook the trailer back to the vehicle.
Ranger went for a ride in the woods.
Yeah,
Tree stopped it though.
I remember a lawnmower incident similar to that with my grandmother, and actually, I hurt her pretty good. Didn't crush her hand, but I mean I smacked her hand pretty good, and with the tongue of the trailer. And I forget what it was. We'd unhooked it, and it was behind the vehicle, but not hooked to the vehicle. Yeah, and she got between it and the vehicle.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Didn't break her hand, but it could have done some serious damage.
I did learn a little lesson there.
Yeah. So.
Billy Hoffman says Lake Erie and Cedar Point are northern Ohio, almost Michigan. You're right. And no damage, I hope. Nope, no damage. It's the pine tree kind of stopped it nicely.
Yeah, there you go.
And I just jumped in it, started up, and drove it away.
I wish I'd been sitting there with a camera. That'd been good.
It would have been comical.
Yeah. Put a little Benny Hill music to it.
What I'm finding out about this Ranger is, because this has happened at my driveway, it started to roll on me. Because I put it in neutral. And the slant of my driveway is just like...
Mm-hmm. You got to get away from that neutral stuff, man. You got to park it.
Right. That's what I do now. So,
all right.
You learn. That's, I'm learning here, things about rolling away.
Well, we need to roll right into our next break here because we're rolling along on this show pretty good here. We're 3/4 of the way through. We've only done one break, so we're going to step outside. Well, we are outside.
We are outside.
We're going to stop here for a second and take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Throughout human history, one notorious killer has remained at the top and claimed more lives than any war or natural disaster combined. Mosquitoes. It's time to arm yourself and protect your family this season with Scent Blocker's new Bug Blocker for insects. Lasting up to 8 hours, Bug Blocker not only repels biting mosquitoes that can carry the West Nile virus, but other biting insects, including chiggers, biting flies, gnats, and ticks which can carry Lyme disease. Field tested by outfitters and guides from Alaska to Alabama and everywhere in between. The results are in, and Bug Blocker flat out works. In a high-potency sportsman strength dosage, using 25% no-nonsense DEET, plus 2 specific ingredients to target biting flies, Bug Blocker plays for keeps. For ultimate protection, pair Bug Blocker insects with Bug Blocker ticks.
Welcome back, everybody. Third segment of the show, and we just got a quick shout out here on our live stream from the guys over at Rut and River Pursuits podcast. They're on the Outdoor Podcast.
The one and only.
The one and only, man. Uncle Catfish.
Yes.
Give us a quick shout out, man.
And Jason Radecki, did you open a cold beverage and stand there and scratch your head?
after the
I scratched
SUV
my
roll-up?
head because I knew exactly what I did wrong.
Yeah.
And I did open a nice cold Diet Coke and drank it looking at it, going,
shaking your head.
"You stupid."
Okay, well, I'm going to give just a little something here. Since Uncle Catfish chimed in, he's had some good He had a good incident on a recent episode with the Rutten River go-kart. Rutten River Pursuits.
A go-kart?
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Uh-oh.
The R2 go-kart. So we'll get him on. You have to ask him about that. So
I will ask him about the R2 go-kart.
What is it with us guys and our toys? I mean, we're always pushing it to the edge and getting in trouble.
It's
It's true. I mean, it's just...
I'm trying to avoid that now. I'm getting older. I don't want to do that.
When you get us together, it's one of them, hey, hold my beer moments. And, hey, y'all, watch this.
Yeah, well, when
my family's famous for that.
When somebody says, watch this, be very afraid.
Somebody's going to the hospital.
Yeah.
But
no,
it seems like just the way it is, man.
Going back here, a segment, I want to catch up, and this is proof in point here. Kevin Craven answered my question. He does mostly only hunt Zone 3.
Okay.
But he does do Zone 2. And he's planning on heading to the Northwest 12 this season.
Ah, good.
See?
Public land?
I'm assuming so. We got to get him on the show.
Right on.
And that's the funny thing here. That's going to add economic growth to the Northwest 12.
Bingo. You got people going up there because there's better deer hunting there. Or there's bigger deer. They're enforcing those APRs up there. People are happier. They bought into the science behind this. And, there's going to be, that's people that's going to see the economic growth. People are leaving Michigan and going to other states to hunt deer because they're frankly tired of hunting at what we call the typical Michigan 8-point. They want something more of a challenge or something bigger.
Or if they're going to spend the money, they want to have the opportunity.
Yeah, they want to have an opportunity to shoot something big.
What they consider a trophy.
Sure.
And to everybody, that's different. Those guys from Rutten River, they're from Pennsylvania, right? Why do people in Pennsylvania like to race their go-karts right into a dryer?
He did, man. He'll have to tell you. Something about no brakes, man. He bounced off it.
No brakes. Yeah, sure. Okay. But anyways, you're right. That was a great discussion. And I forget who had it, but they were talking about, buying a place up north.
Yeah.
Spending all the money to maintain it, go visit it, take care of it, create food plots.
Yep.
Or, maybe I don't buy a place up north.
Yeah.
And I just take that yearly money and I go hunt Iowa, or I put in for Iowa.
Kansas.
I go to Illinois.
Missouri,
I go to Kansas. Ohio.
Illinois, Ohio. Yeah, Ohio's becoming a hotbed.
Right. And spend their money somewhere else.
Right.
And that's a shame because Michigan's trying their hardest with Pure Michigan campaign to get people to come here. But yet, on the outdoor hunting side, we could be probably one of the best states with them all.
Right.
But we refuse to.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin said the economic impact of APRs is not being discussed enough. Absolutely. It's what I've been saying about this. What happens when we have better hunting? We see people putting money back into the economy. We see people buying hunting land. The value of our hunting property goes up. What happens when when the value of our property goes up and people are selling it and buying it? That brings the tax base up, which also infuses money back into the local communities.
Right.
It's a win.
Okay, those little mom and pop shops that are up there that rely on the 2 weeks, maybe a month and a half of archery and into hunting season. If you got people coming up there from out of state to hunt there, that's just more to it than the locals. Plus the summertime group or wintertime group that comes up.
It creates more jobs in the area as well. You affect the economy that way.
Right, exactly.
In our area up there in the northeastern Michigan it's hurting, man. I mean, you go up there, you see places closed down that used to thrive. A little local restaurant just opened at the corner of 65 and 72, 6 miles from camp. The first restaurant that's been there in years. There's one down the road. It was a bar/restaurant.
Yep.
It closed down years ago. There's another small, little, tiny diner that closed down. But this place, they built it brand new, from the ground up. And the Lunchbox, give them a quick shout-out. If you're up that way, stop in and, tell them we sent you over there. But I asked them, I said, are you guys going to be open 365 days a year? And they go, well, we hope to. And I'm like, man, they built a brand new facility, beautiful facility.
Oh, that's a brand new building they built?
Brand new building, yeah.
Wow.
And, they put their hopes and dreams and future into that, just hoping that something would come back in that area.
Do you know, in that area, do they get a lot of the snowmobilers coming through there?
Not up where we're at. See, where we're at, it's a lot of club land. It's a lot of private land.
They don't get no traveling through?
Nah, maybe, but not as much as like down around the Mayo area. But
or over in Gladwin, Gaylord?
Yeah, see, we're just north of the National Forest.
Okay, so I was wondering, you were thinking about that. I was thinking, okay, maybe the summertime crew could get them through hunting season, but that dead zone of January, February, March,
mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it's a risky business, and hopes.
Right.
I hope they make it. There's places along US too. When I go along the UP,
yeah.
They just did an article about one of the places that's going to finally close. It's been a family business for years, but you just see these places closed down, and it's like,
right,
what was it like, or what could it be, or
the Pink Store. They always call it the Pink Store. They're on 33. It's halfway between Rose City and Mayo.
Yes.
They just opened that back up. Somebody bought it and opened it back up. Now I really hope they do well. But it's those places like that had been there for years, but the hunting's got bad. Not the hunting's got bad. It's just the quality of the hunt has got bad. And people are going to different states. They want a different experience. They're looking for something bigger and better.
And Kevin says no state has the amount of quality public hunting land that Michigan does, in his opinion, all just to get the majority of the bucks to see their second birthday.
Absolutely. And Uncle Catfish says Ohio has some great giant whitetail. Absolutely. I think Ohio, they've turned it around.
They really micromanage their deer herd.
Yeah.
They do it by county.
We've talked to some people down there. Well, Mara and Cody, who's on our team here, the last 2 years, they've killed some giant whitetails down there,
Jason Radecki says, nice-looking place, the lunchbox. He must be getting hungry.
Yeah, but it is. It's a great facility. It's not fancy, but it's nice and clean, and prices are reasonable. You get good food. The food's great, and you could get a good amount of food. We went down there the Saturday after they opened. They opened on a Thursday. We were there Saturday.
You were that quick? Wow.
Yeah, didn't even know they were building the place. I mean, it went up.
That fast.
Well, I don't pay attention a lot when I come through there at night.
Well, that's true too.
So I'm usually trying to get to camp before it gets too dark or too late. So.
Oh, yes, Andy.
Yep.
Ohio does have a $1 limit.
Yes, they do. Yep.
And, speaking of that, as we're kind of jumping around here as people chime in.
Yep.
But, like Kevin said, all in hopes to get their buck to their second birthday.
That's it. We can get them to their second birthday, and then people see what the quality of the buck is. Then all of a sudden you start to see switch to their third birthday and their fourth birthday. People have a tendency, once they make that jump to understand what APRs are and start hunting those older bucks, and they start seeing them get older and get more mature and grow mass and just in body structure, more meat on the table, they start migrating that way.
Right.
It's
you
it's
see
a progression.
You see in some spots, other states, a few here, but they're able to watch a buck for more than 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, hey, in June I picked up this buck, bang, it's dead in November. It's, hey, I got this buck on my trail cam for the third year, fourth year in a row, fifth year in a row.
Well, I let that buck walk 2 years ago.
Yes, you did.
Kevin Hutchins come unglued on me.
Yes, he did.
Actually stopped at camp and hunted with me that night, sitting in the pop-up blind. I was hunting off the ground and let a magnificent 2.5-year-old buck walk. And he's like, I've never been that close to a buck that big before, And he was dead to rights. I could have smoked him. And he's like, why didn't you shoot that buck? I said, well, number one, there's a 4.5-year-old 10-point on the property, and I've seen what he looks like. That's number one, and that's what I'm after. And he's in the area. But that buck, it was either the one we named Night Train last year.
Okay.
Or it's a brother. I mean, same antler structure. It looked like the same buck, but bigger. And when I compare the video to the picture of Night Train from last year, and we don't think Night Train got shot. I laid eyes on him personally one time.
Right.
And I came unglued.
But
this year he should be magnificent.
That is first of all, Shane's got to get back to work.
All right, man.
So he's going to listen to us later.
All right.
But that is a perfect example of knowing what's in your area.
Yeah.
And it became that much easier. And it wasn't easy, but easier to say, you know what? All right, I'll let them go.
Yeah.
Because I know there is something on this on this property somewhere.
Right.
That's something I want.
Yep.
And when you have that mindset, it's just, it happened to me when I was in Wisconsin, and I hunted with Greg Miller and Pat Durkin, and, you know, Tom Endrabo did his homework.
Did the homework and
he
knew
had
where
all these bucks on video.
Yep.
On, you know, it said, you know, you're going to be hunting in a stand, and you might see this buck.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay, so, and we went out shining to give me an idea of a typical buck
versus
a shooter buck.
a shooter buck. Right. Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, you know, here's an 8-point.
Yeah.
You can shoot that.
Yep.
Or
You can shoot this.
or you can shoot this.
Right.
And it was like, oh,
Okay.
I understand now.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so it makes it a big difference. And if you can get everybody in that mindset that there's more than one night train,
Yep.
maybe there's two, maybe there's
Yep.
three,
Yep.
maybe there's 2 night trains, 2 juniors, and
Yeah.
1 up and comer, and
Yeah.
you can see that the library starts to build in the area, and you go, oh, hold on,
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot that.
Gonna let him grow.
Right.
You know, but it all goes back. Okay, we're talking about trophy bucks, but it also goes back to shooting the does and making doggone sure that we get those numbers in the right
that's
ratio to where we're not jeopardizing the herd health and the stress on our bucks, and getting our fawn recruitment tightened up in the spring and tightening that rut up in the fall.
Right.
You know?
And here's a good way Kevin points it out. Smaller DMUs will lead to better management. That's what Ohio does. Ohio does it by county.
Mm-hmm.
They go by county as to how many does they're going to shoot
Right.
and whatnot. More COs will lead to less poaching.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because they are few and far between now. I think there's more now than there was. And the DNR and the NRC need to start leading to improve the hunting experience here in Michigan. That ends up being the problem.
Right.
They're not leading.
Yep.
They're not listening. But
They're they're not listening, and they're leading. They're leading it down a detrimental path, I believe.
and you're right, Andy. So change the mindset and go to a one buck, no APRs. If if they could agree on something of that nature,
Well,
but
like I said, here's what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to talk to our neighbors. We're going to have to talk to other landowners in the area, start getting these deer co-ops. You know, maybe if you don't want to form a co-op, at least talk to your neighbors. Start getting people of like-mindedness together. But a co-op, you know, there's opportunities there for other ways to manage your land. You get, you know, co-op dollars from grants from the DNR or from other areas to be able to change that habitat. You know, you and I are kind of starting to work into those areas.
yep.
So if the state's not going to do it on a state level, then let's start doing it ourselves.
Micromanage it.
Yep, micromanage your own area. You know, get 4,000 to 6,000 acres roughly of landowners in your area if you can. And if you're a state hunter, land hunter, or, you know, or public land hunter, you know, start, you know, doing those same things.
Exactly.
You know, harvest some does if you can, and start letting those other ones walk. And you think, well, if I don't shoot it, somebody else will. Well, you know what? It's got to start somewhere.
Okay, exactly. And Andy's right by changing the mindset. Now, if I don't shoot that buck, somebody will. Somebody, when he goes off my property, will.
Yeah.
But if we can change the mindset, whether you do it through APRs
Mm-hmm.
or 1 buck,
Yep.
that if I let this buck go, my neighbor has to let it go.
Mm-hmm. That's
know?
true. That's true.
You know,
Absolutely.
and if he's shooting it, then
Yeah.
that's illegal. But
Right.
if he has to let it go, then it isn't so bad.
Right.
So they have to do something. Are they going to do something? You know, we'll find out in July. We'll have to get Lincoln Roan on here.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see it this year. The only thing that I've heard is going to be probably proposed is the APRs in the Northeast, and it's only going to be in DMU
452.
452, 487, whatever you want to call it now. It's the TB zone.
I think it's
That's where I
basically
hunt.
going to be the northern lower, right?
But yeah, but here's the problem with where we're at up there in the TB zone. The TB zone is mainly comprised of private landowners, club land, and most of all of us up in that area that I know of, people I've talked to, already impose their own APRs at their club, their own club rules. You know what I'm saying? So they're already doing it. So it's not really going to change things
Right.
the way it should be changed.
And Andy, here's what he says. I think a lot of guys are leaning in that direction now, which, you know, it seems like the more we talk to, the more that's what they're doing. But, like that was said, the DNR needs to take the lead and to make everyone get on the same page.
Right.
You know, it's that thing. What do we got here, Shane? Shane, antler restrictions here in PA, 3 points to one side, have led to me seeing some real nice bucks way more often in the past 3 years.
Gets better every year.
Gets better every year.
Right on.
Okay, Jason, have a good Father's Day. Yes,
That's right. Father's Day is coming up.
next week.
That's right. Non-improved hunting, or the hunting culture that we have in the state. One buck rule will have a big effect on economic impact. Shoot a buck in October. Typical hunter will be done hunting, which, it says Seymour here.
I know. Like,
Which means done spending dollars. That's true, too. Unless you get them to start shooting does.
okay, so
You know, they go. I think that's the thing, is they need to go hand in hand. You know, in Wisconsin tried to do this with the Earn a Buck program. I don't know that that's the answer, but it's changing the mindsets of shooting does. We still got a huge problem up at our place, you know, of shooting does. Certain people don't like to shoot them, and that's okay. I understand that, but we need to let somebody shoot them. You know, we've got landowners next to us that are the same way. He doesn't like to shoot them, so he brings somebody else in to let him shoot a few. But you know, somebody's got to do the job, and whether it's you, the hunter, or you bring somebody else in, if you're not comfortable with it, it needs to be done. And you know, talking about, I read something this weekend talking about even with the elk herds out west, that it's even more detrimental to the elk herds when you don't shoot the cows and keep those numbers in check. There was a big thing about that, and that's the way they manage.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and Andy here doesn't agree with that. And he says, keep the combo tag, 1 buck, 1 doe, good for anywhere in the state.
Yeah.
But that's just another form of it. If you did that, I would see the 1 buck, 1 doe, good for anywhere in the state. I'd almost, why not put the APRs onto that? 1 buck and 1 doe.
But it's like we said back in the beginning, everybody has got their own ideas and opinions about it. But the thing is, we're all talking about it, and that's the good thing. Everybody's talking about it, and everybody's trying to do. Not everybody, but I think most hunters out there that are talking about it are trying to do something good to make an impact in a
Exactly.
positive direction.
All right, Kevin, he's got to go. He's got to go put some water on the food plot.
That's a good job to have.
There you go. All right, take it easy, Kevin. I'll be in touch about getting you on the show. But yeah, you know, but do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
What this, you know, us talking is preaching to the choir.
True.
You know, you've talked about it with your club about getting everybody on the bus.
Mhm.
In the state of Michigan, we need a driver.
We do. I kind of think that's the APR. So that Lincoln's he's kind of
I think he
started that bus rolling,
Right.
so to speak. So,
But yeah, you know, and it's just one of those things.
well, you think
Andy's
about-
got to go. He's got to deliver to another McDonald's. All right.
All right, right on. You guys have
All
a
right,
good one.
you guys have a good
Well,
one.
I'll tell you what. Let's step outside. Let's take our last break. We'll come back. We'll kind of wrap up the show and kind of wrap up the subject here, and we'll step up. Once again, we're already outside.
We're already outside.
We'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like 1 pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet. I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back, everybody. Last segment of the show. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure... Danny, what are you doing? He's all discombobulated here. Danny
now I'm back.
There you go. Danny did something this week I think that might help you guys out there who don't have an opportunity to listen or watch the live stream live and chime in. You've listened to the shows the last, 2 months or so? We've been live streaming. And, we're interacting with people out there, throwing questions at us, and, kind of carries the subject along. And if you'd like to see and listen to that, because we do talk a little bit during the breaks, but if you'd like to see kind of what's going on, you post our shows over on YouTube, right?
Right. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now, I did a trial this week to make sure it all works.
Right.
Because I want to do something and say, oops.
Right.
Which I did the first time.
Okay.
Another oopsie, but, what I've done is... we do our Facebook Live on Sunday. Some people like to see the video.
Right.
What we're going to be doing is I'm going to be starting to post them later in the week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. I'll put a link on our Facebook page back to the YouTube. That way, if you missed the Facebook Live episode and you want to watch it and see, in case you hear something on the podcast that we say you can't see this,
right,
and you want to see it,
right,
you can go over there and I'm going to post the episodes over there. That way there's a video side of the Facebook Live on YouTube, so it's out to everybody.
And the fact that we continually broadcast and stream right through the commercial breaks.
Right, exactly. There's been plenty of times where on the podcast, you'll hear us go to break.
And Danny will sing to us.
And something will happen in the break, and when we come back into the podcast, Mike usually says... if we only taped during the break.
If you only heard what we said during the break.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, folks? This is your time
to be able to
see the whole entire, however long we're on for, an hour and 20, whatever it is. It's A to Z, the whole entire Facebook Live. I'm going to put it on YouTube. That way you guys can see the video portion.
Yeah.
If you feel like sitting back and having a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times, too, we'll continue the conversation even after we stop the actual podcast portion of the show. The live stream will continue for another 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll talk, continue the conversation or talk about something else, actually.
Right, and depending on who our guest is, we've had that happen. We've gone off the show.
Yeah.
Questions kind of rolled in, and so...
so go over and check it out.
Yeah, so it'll start popping up here probably this week. I beta tested it this week, but... next week it'll start happening, probably Wednesday or Thursday.
And well, it's also, if you scroll back through, you can actually play this back on Facebook as well.
Right, exactly. If you go into the video side of Facebook, it's just another way to get Up North Journal out to people, whether on video or you can put us in the corner of your computer at work, play the video, and listen to us.
Right on. So,
but yeah, that's kind of cool, and it's just another. And I think we're going to try to put that on Vimeo too.
Yeah, possibly be on Vimeo. We have a couple different outlets. So if you're like a Twitter type person that's listening to the show, Vimeo plays well over on Twitter.
Right.
It plays well on Facebook as well. But we've got a couple different ways that we can try to get this out to you guys.
More ways than one to see us live.
So that's an option for you. There was something I was going to say, and it just completely slipped my mind.
Completely slipped your mind. Nice. Way to go.
Yeah.
It must be this
go.
nice weather we got out here.
Right on. So next week's Father's Day.
Next week is Father's Day. And you know what? I don't know if I'm going to try to get Lincoln Roan on the show.
Okay.
He's in Iowa this weekend, and didn't want to run into any problems with that. So maybe we can get him on, maybe talk a little Father's Day with him, maybe Grandfather's Day with him, actually, because and see how he's doing. Maybe get an update as to, we talked it tonight, but get an update from him to see how it's going. I think it's going to be the second week of July is when they make their recommendations.
The final
deal. Final deal. I think.
So we know what we're dealing with.
I think there's one more meeting left. I got to go back and look. I'll get a hold of Lincoln and see. But it's Father's Day. No plans.
If anybody's looking for some good Father's Day gifts, I know Cabela's has got a full list of stuff going on. They got. I think there's like a Father's Day wish list that you can actually, if you're a dad and there's something you want your wife or kids to get you, you can go on there and build a wish list and give to them. And they're running a bunch of great sales too. So don't forget Cabela's. They support us, and we want to support them as well. So
And Billy Hoffman reminds me, at Land O'Lakes Bowman, they're having a swap meet next Saturday. You can go to landolakes.com to get the hours and location of the club.
All right.
And that's going to happen next Saturday. So
thanks
for reminding me, Billy.
Get in some archery gear?
Yep, get in some archery gear and archery, recurve, stick and string. They got targets there you can shoot.
Okay.
Practice, chest them out, everything.
Right
so
on.
That's next Saturday, the 17th, I think.
End of August is Bowfest coming up.
Bowfest. I talked with Jim this past week. I stopped in there. I had to ask him a couple questions about Bowfest. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you after we stop recording about something might happen there.
Okay. We also got something coming up. Let's just say we got something coming up with Cabela's. We can't say yet.
Yep.
We're
something
not
coming
allowed
up
to say
Cabela's.
yet.
No, we're not.
And not allowed to. So just stay tuned for that. We got some good news coming that way.
Right. And going back really quick to Spot Shooters, August 26th, Bowfest, we're going to have the tent, UNJ tent, and we'll have some people underneath the tent. I'm not sure of all who's going to be yet. I'm just trying to get tables set up and how many we can have.
We do have the archery game from Cabela's
secured. Yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I got the email this week
Okay.
that says it'll be on the calendar, so we'll have the archery game from Cabela's there
Good deal.
for everybody to shoot. And then, like you said, something coming up. We can't announce it yet, but when we can, we'll announce it with Cabela's. But, yeah, it's, man.
Going to get out and shoot the bow this week?
You're going to get out and shoot the bow.
Oh, I'm asking you. Me this week, I got to be to work early Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, I think I might be able to shoot. And then I'm taking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be returning Sunday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Jake and I are taking off for father-son excursion. We don't know where or what yet. We're thinking about throwing the waders and fishing rods
There
in.
you go.
And going
His
to wade
last
a couple.
hurrah before he goes to school.
Yeah. So that's a positive. We'll have something to talk about that. But we got that going. But that's kind of, I guess, my Father's Day weekend with him.
Billy Hoffman, landolakesbowman.com. Thank you. That's where you can go to learn more about the swap meet. And Kevin Craven's asking about us coming down to the new Cabela's when it opens. I'm assuming we will be there. And when it opens, as soon as we find out when it opens, we'll let you know.
That's right.
So, but you know,
I'm swatting bugs now.
Bugs are coming out. The bugs are coming out. That's kind of funny. But okay, cool. No, I will definitely be shooting the bow.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. There is a shoot coming up in Toledo. We've been asked to shoot at. When is that?
July 15th.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
Down in Toledo.
Right.
We'll have to check out. I think that was the date.
Okay.
But you got to shoot your bow.
I do. I'll get it ready.
Okay.
I'll be ready.
I did do a DIY project this week. I actually did it Friday. I built my own.
You didn't bring it?
No, I did not. I built my own archery stand to hold your bow and arrows, like when you're practicing in the backyard.
Okay.
I made one. It took me less than an hour.
Bring it over next week. We'll try it out.
I will do that.
I don't know what time I'm going to be back in town, but I'll be back for the show.
Right. So.
Good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise.
No.
Depends on where we're at and how
Trust me,
bad traffic is getting back.
This week, I don't think the creeks are going to rise because it's going to be pretty hot and dry.
90s. Got a heat wave coming through here. 90 today, 90 tomorrow, 90 Tuesday. So it's a beautiful time, though, man. It's a great time to be out in the outdoors. You know, if you guys sitting on the couch, get off your butt, get outside.
Absolutely. Get out there. It's a great time.
Beautiful.
Get the family out there.
Get your kayak out. Get your boat out.
Whatever. Get outside.
It's boating week here in Michigan.
Yeah, it is boating week here in Michigan. We're just coming off of free fishing weekend.
Over 11,000 lakes in Michigan.
Yeah, that's right. So get out there.
And I forget how many coastline miles we have on the Great Lakes. It's just incredible. There was like 4 different stats I was going to read, and I can't remember them all now. But
forgot.
Yeah, but it's boating weekend here in Michigan. So you know what? You got a boat, and you're not in Michigan. Come up Father's Day weekend. We got a lot of places to play on the water.
There you go.
A lot of places to fish. So
that'll do it.
Anything else?
No. Let's. I'm good. I'm enjoying the backyard here. It's a nice, cool breeze. But I think I've I got it all wrapped up for tonight.
All right. Well, I got a couple of cold bottles of water here in the Cabela's cooler. Let's break them out here, and that'll do it for the podcast. And if you missed the live stream, you know where to find us now. So get over and check it out. Check out all the shows over in the Outdoor Podcast channel. We talked about Uncle Catfish here during the show, Rutten River Pursuits.
So we're going to have to figure out this go-karts and dryers thing.
Oh, we're going to get them on. We got to talk about that. I tell you what, when I heard that, I'm glad I wasn't drinking anything because I was driving down the road. I just spit fluids all over the windshield when I heard what happened. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, they're over there. A lot of great shows. Billy Hoffman.
Billy Hoffman's over there?
Yeah, Hoffman's Hunting Heritage. He's got a show over there.
Yep.
We got turkey hunting shows. We got fishing shows. We've talked about this many times. You guys go over and check it out. We've got a lot of really good shows. We got
anything from fishing, hunting, to farming in the city girl.
That's right. So that'll do it for us this week, folks. Y'all take care. Have a great Father's Day.
This episode was brought to you by PSC Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Scent Blocker,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.